The massive alien ship appeared in Earth's orbit without warning. It was silver and smooth, unlike any human spacecraft. People around the world stopped what they were doing and looked up at the sky. Some were afraid. Others were excited. But everyone knew that life would never be the same. Commander Eric Daniels stood tall in his crisp blue uniform as he waited in the special landing area, built just for this moment. His heart raced, but his face showed nothing but calm. As leader of Earth's first contact team, he carried the hopes of 8 billion humans on his shoulders. "They're landing," said Dr. Olivia Winters, who stood beside him. She was the best language expert on Earth, chosen to help talk with the aliens. Her hands trembled slightly as she held her tablet. "Remember what we practiced," Eric said quietly. "We are proud representatives of Earth. We show respect, but we don't bow." The alien ship touched down without a sound. It was smaller than the mothership above, but still bigger than any human shuttle. A door slid open, and 3 figures walked out. The aliens called themselves the Viridians. They had greenish-blue skin that seemed to shimmer under the sunlight. They stood taller than humans, with long limbs and large eyes that blinked sideways. Their leader, Ambassador Zyktar, wore a flowing robe with patterns that seemed to move. "Welcome to Earth," Eric said with a slight nod of his head. "We are honored to meet you." Zyktar looked down at Eric. The alien's mouth turned up in what might have been a smile, but felt more like a smirk. "How quaint," the alien said in perfect English. "Your species has advanced enough to greet us properly. The Galactic Confederation has been watching your development for some time." Admiral Peter Rodriguez, standing behind Eric, narrowed his eyes. He didn't like the alien's tone. As head of Earth's defense forces, he was suspicious by nature. Something felt off about this meeting. Olivia stepped forward. "We have many questions about your civilization and the Confederation. We hope to learn from you." Zyktar made a sound like chimes tinkling. The other aliens did the same. It took a moment for the humans to realize they were laughing. "Yes, there is much you can learn from us. Your species is still quite primitive by galactic standards, but showing initiative, at least." One of the other aliens whispered something to Zyktar, who nodded. "We are amused that you've managed to reach your own moon and send simple robots to nearby planets. Most species at your stage haven't achieved even that much." Eric felt his face grow warm, but he kept his diplomatic smile. "We're proud of our accomplishments, Ambassador. Humans have a strong drive to explore and discover." "Indeed," said Zyktar, glancing at the simple building behind them. "Your dwellings and technology are charmingly basic, but the Confederation has voted to extend an invitation nonetheless. Earth may send representatives to observe our next galactic summit. Perhaps you will find it educational." Later that evening, after the aliens returned to their ship, the first contact team gathered in a secure room. "They think we're stupid," Admiral Rodriguez said, pounding his fist on the table. "Did you see how they looked at our technology? Like we were children showing off crayon drawings." Olivia nodded. "They've mastered faster-than-light travel, energy shields, and who knows what else. Compared to them, we probably do seem primitive." Eric stared out the window at the alien ship hovering above the city. "Maybe so, but something tells me there's more to humanity than they realize. We've overcome every challenge our planet has thrown at us. We'll overcome this too." "What's the plan, Commander?" asked Rodriguez. "We accept their invitation. We learn everything we can, and we show them that humans shouldn't be underestimated." Eric turned to face his team. "They may have a head start of thousands of years, but the race isn't over yet." In orbit above, Zyktar reported to the Confederation Council. "The Earth species is primitive but shows potential as a labor force. They seem eager to please and learn. I recommend minimal technology sharing and close observation." The Earth, meanwhile, prepared for its first step into a much larger universe, a universe that had no idea what was coming. 3 months after first contact, the Earth delegation stepped off their shuttle onto Nexus Prime, the massive space station that served as the meeting place for the Galactic Confederation. The journey had taken weeks in the human ship, even with the help of alien navigation systems. Every other species arrived in hours or minutes. Samantha Powell, Earth's resource specialist, tried not to stare with an open mouth at the huge central dome of the station. It was bigger than any building on Earth, filled with thousands of aliens from hundreds of species. Some floated in the air, others moved on many legs. Some didn't seem to have bodies at all, just clouds of light. "Remember why we're here," said Senator Frank Morrison as he straightened his tie. "We need technology exchanges, trade agreements, and defense treaties. Don't let them see us as tourists." But that was exactly how the aliens treated them. As the humans walked through the main hall, aliens pointed and whispered. Some took pictures. A group of small purple creatures followed them, giggling whenever the humans looked their way. Dr. Ethan Gray, the team's anthropologist, whispered, "We're the galactic equivalent of a school field trip to the zoo." The Earth delegation was shown to a small room far from the main meeting chambers. Inside, screens showed the events of the summit, but they couldn't participate. A Viridian guide explained that Earth was granted observer status only as a Level 2 civilization. "What's a Level 2 civilization?" Samantha asked. "You have basic space travel within your own solar system, but lack faster-than-light capabilities," the guide said slowly, as if speaking to a child. "Level 3 civilizations have colonized multiple star systems. Level 4 have mastered gravity manipulation. Level 5 have evolved beyond physical bodies. The Confederation core species are all Level 6 or higher." "And what level are the Viridians?" Senator Morrison asked. "We achieved Level 6 status 8,000 years ago," the guide said with obvious pride. As the summit continued, the humans watched speeches and demonstrations from their small room. They saw technologies that seemed like magic. Planets transformed from barren rocks to lush gardens in weeks. Stars moved to create safer travel routes. Diseases cured with light. One evening, the humans were invited to a reception. They hoped it meant they were finally being taken seriously. Instead, they found themselves the entertainment. High Counselor Xelveran, leader of the Confederation, called for attention. He was tall and thin with skin like polished metal. "Tonight we welcome our new friends from Earth, a charming young species," he announced. "We have prepared a special presentation on their history." The lights dimmed. Images appeared in the air. Humans fighting wars, polluting oceans, killing animals for sport, burning forests. The aliens murmured and shook their heads. "Despite these primitive beginnings," Xelveran continued, "they show potential for growth. With proper guidance, they may join us as full members in a few thousand years." The aliens applauded. Some raised glasses in a toast. Samantha felt her cheeks burn with shame and anger. "They're treating us like we're children," Senator Morrison growled. Dr. Gray nodded. "Worse, they see us as savages who need to be civilized." Later that night, Samantha couldn't sleep. She walked to the viewing deck of their quarters and stared out at the stars. She pulled out her tablet and began making notes about everything she'd seen. The technologies, the species, the politics of the Confederation. "What are you doing?" Dr. Gray asked, joining her. "They think we're primitive." "Fine. Let them think that," Samantha said. "But I'm going to learn everything I can while we're here. They don't realize that humans have something special. We learn fast." "You think we can catch up to civilizations thousands of years ahead of us?" Samantha looked at the stars. "I think they're underestimating us, and that might be their biggest mistake." On the main level of Nexus Prime, Ambassador Zyk-Tar spoke with High Counselor Xelveran. "The humans are disappointed with their status," Zyk-Tar said. "They expected to be treated as equals." Xelveran laughed. "How charming. Did you tell them it took the Draxians 500 years just to earn the right to speak at the summit?" "No," Zyk-Tar replied. "But perhaps we should study them more closely. There's something unusual about them." Nonsense, Selvarin said. They're just another primitive species with delusions of importance. They'll learn their place. 6 months after the humiliating Galactic Summit, Earth had established limited trade with several alien species. Most exchanges were simple. Earth minerals for basic alien technologies. The aliens carefully controlled what they shared, always holding back the best advances. Dr. Lillian Carter worked late in her lab at the new Xenoscience Center in Colorado. The building itself was a gift from the Viridians, meant to help humans study alien biology. But Lillian had other ideas. "Look at this brain scan again," she said to her team as they gathered around a large screen. "This is a Viridian brain during problem solving. Notice the activity is only in these specialized regions." She switched to another image. "Now here's a human brain doing the same task. See how many different areas light up. We're using multiple parts of our brain at once." Dr. Kevin Foster, the team's xenobiologist, leaned closer. "What does it mean?" "It means we think differently," Lillian said excitedly. "Alien species evolved specialized intelligence, parts of their brains dedicated to specific tasks. But humans develop generalized problem solving. We make unexpected connections between different ideas." "Is that good or bad?" asked a lab assistant. "It's different," Lillian said. "And different can be powerful." Across the planet in a secret military facility, Captain Ryan Mitchell prepared his crew for a mission. Their ship, the Venture, was the fastest Earth had built, incorporating some alien technology they'd been allowed to have. "We're not going to the regular trade route," Ryan told his crew of 6. "We've detected something in the asteroid belt. An old ship, not from Earth, and not matching any Confederation designs." His second-in-command frowned. "The aliens said we're restricted to Mars orbit, which is why we're not telling them," Ryan said with a smile. "We launch at midnight." 2 days later, the Venture approached the derelict spacecraft. It was dark and smooth, with no visible windows or doors. It had clearly been floating among the asteroids for a very long time. "No energy readings," reported the ship's engineer. "It's dead." Ryan led a team inside through a torn section of hull. They wore spacesuits and carried lights. The inside of the ship was strange. Curved walls with markings unlike any alien writing they'd seen before. Ryan approached what looked like a control panel. As his gloved hand touched the surface, something unexpected happened. Lights flickered on throughout the ship. "Captain," his engineer called out in shock, "the ship is powering up." "How?" "There's no way it still has energy after who knows how long," Ryan said. "It's responding to you, sir," the engineer said. "When you touched it." Back on Earth, Dr. Lillian met with scientist Merrick's, a Viridian researcher reluctantly assigned to work with her team. "You must see these results," Lillian insisted, showing her data. "Human cognitive patterns are unique among all known species." Merrick studied the scans with 3 blinking eyes. "This is unexpected," the alien admitted. "Your brains are inefficient, using too much energy by activating multiple regions at once." "Not inefficient. Adaptable," Lillian countered. "We can solve problems in multiple ways. If one approach fails, we try another. We make creative leaps." "Creative," Merrick's repeated the word slowly. "Yes, this may explain some anomalies in our observations. Humans have advanced faster than our models predicted." "What do you mean?" Lillian asked. Merrick seemed to hesitate. It took the Viridians 1,000 years to progress from simple rockets to basic space stations. Humans did it in less than 100. As they spoke, Ryan's team made another discovery on the derelict ship. In what appeared to be sleeping quarters, they found a preserved body of the ship's pilot. Ryan's heart raced as he shined his light on the remains. The body was humanoid, with 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head. It was clearly not from any known Confederation species, but what shocked him most was the skull, shaped exactly like a human's, with teeth and bone structure that matched their own. Ryan took a step back. "Get samples. Record everything. This changes everything." The engineer looked up from a device they'd managed to activate. Sir, according to this ship's log, it's over 50,000 years old. And the pilot looks human, Ryan whispered. How is that possible? Back in her lab, Lillian received an encrypted message from Ryan with his initial findings. As she read it, her hands began to shake. The truth was more stunning than either of them could have imagined. The news of Captain Ryan's discovery spread quietly among a select group of Earth scientists and leaders. The ancient ship was moved to a secret base on the far side of the moon. For 3 weeks, researchers worked day and night to understand its secrets. Archaeologist Natalie Reeves carefully examined markings on the ship's walls. At first, they seemed like random patterns, but she began to see similarities to very old human writing. Look at this symbol, she told Professor Alan Wright, pointing to a curved shape. It appears in cave paintings from 40,000 BCE in France, and this one resembles early Chinese writing. Alan adjusted his glasses. You're saying these aliens use writing similar to ancient humans? That's impossible. Unless, Natalie said quietly, they weren't aliens at all. DNA tests confirmed what seemed unbelievable. The pilot of the ship was human. But how could humans have built such advanced technology 50,000 years ago, then lost it all? Lieutenant Diane Coleman guarded the lab where the ship's computer was being studied. Inside, technicians had finally managed to access some of its data. What they found changed everything. The computer contained star maps showing thousands of worlds. On many worlds, there were markers indicating settlements or outposts. The ship's log spoke of a vast human civilization that had spread across the stars, calling themselves the Forerunners. This doesn't make sense, Diane said as she looked at the maps. If humans were this advanced, why did we end up back on Earth with no technology? The logs mention a war, one of the technicians said. Something about an enemy from between the stars. The last entries talk about a plan to hide on Earth until the danger passed. The Viridian researcher Crex Tai had been allowed to join the study team, mainly because Earth needed alien technology to fully understand the ship. As he examined the Forerunner technology, his usual arrogance faded. This ship has propulsion systems we've never seen before, Crex Tai admitted. The way it bends space is elegant, more advanced than anything in the Confederation. Natalie found living quarters on the ship with personal belongings. There were images of families, art, and music devices. They were just like us, she said, holding a small statue of what looked like a child playing. But they had reached the stars thousands of years before the Viridians even existed. Meanwhile, Dr. Lillian Carter's brain research gained new meaning. The Forerunner's technology responds to human neural patterns, she explained to Earth's leaders in a secret meeting. That's why the ship activated when Ryan touched it. It was designed to recognize human brainwaves. Are you saying we're descendants of these Forerunners? Asked one of the officials. Yes, Lillian said. Something forced them back to Earth, where they had to start over. They lost their technology, but they passed down their genetics, including their unique brain structure. Professor Alan Wright had been studying ancient myths and legends from around the world. The great flood stories that appear in cultures worldwide. The tales of gods who came from the sky. Ancient cities said to have technology beyond imagination. They weren't myths. They were memories. Natalie added, we found references to Earth as the cradle world in the ship's logs. Earth wasn't just another colony. It was their original home. A military officer spoke up. What happens when the Confederation learns about this? They won't like knowing that the primitive humans they look down on are actually the descendants of a civilization more advanced than their own. They already suspect something, Crexte said, surprising everyone. The Confederation Council has been asking questions about your neural research and the ship we detected. They know you're hiding something. Captain Ryan looked at the assembled group. Then we need to learn everything we can before they find out the truth. This ship is just one small scout vessel. There might be more Forerunner technology out there, maybe even on Earth, varied and waiting. Natalie nodded. The ship's logs mention outposts hidden on planets throughout the galaxy, places the Forerunners could return to when it was safe. After 50,000 years, Lillian said, "I think it's finally time to reclaim what we lost." Outside the meeting room, a small device hidden in an air vent recorded everything. Far away on Nexus Prime, Ambassador Ziktar listened with growing concern. Word of Earth's discovery spread through secret channels of the Galactic Confederation. Not all aliens were happy to hear about it. Humans weren't supposed to have a grand history. They were supposed to be young, primitive, and easy to control. Commander Eric Daniels noticed the change immediately. Alien representatives who once looked down on him now avoided eye contact. Trade talks suddenly stalled. And most concerning, 3 human scientists working off-world had died in accidents within the past week. "They're trying to stop us," Eric told Security Chief Lisa Vaughn in his secure office. "Someone doesn't want us learning more about our past." Lisa nodded grimly. "I've doubled security on all our research teams, but we need to move faster. The Viridians have requested inspection access to our moon base." The door burst open, and Brandon Hayes, the young engineer working on the ancient ship systems, rushed in. His face was pale, and he was out of breath. "Sir, you need to see this," he said, holding up a small device. "I found this hidden in the ship's engine room. It's not a part of the original ship. It's much newer." Lisa took the device and scanned it. "It's a bomb, powerful enough to destroy the entire base." Eric's face hardened. "So that's their game. Find our discovery and destroy it, along with anyone who knows about it." That night, Earth's top scientists and military leaders gathered in an underground facility deep below the Rocky Mountains. The ancient ship had been moved there, piece by piece, under cover of darkness. Brandon worked frantically on the ship's control panel. "I've been studying the activation sequence. The ship responds to human touch, but there's more to it. It seems to be looking for a specific genetic marker." "Can you make it work?" Eric asked. "I think so," Brandon replied. "But I don't know what will happen when." He never finished his sentence. As his hands moved across the panel in a specific pattern, the entire ship hummed to life. Lights flickered on throughout the facility. The ship's engine began to glow with soft blue light. Then something unexpected happened. The light spread beyond the ship, running along the floor like water, up the walls, and across the ceiling. Within seconds, the entire room was pulsing with blue energy. "What's happening?" Lisa demanded, weapon drawn. Brandon stared at his tablet in amazement. It's sending a signal. Not radio, not light. Something else entirely. And it's powerful. It's penetrating miles of rock above us." In space, orbiting Earth, alien ships detected the strange energy pulse. They had never seen anything like it before. The signal shot past them, faster than light, racing outward to the stars. On Nexus Prime, Ambassador Ziktar was meeting with High Counselor Hexel Varen when every piece of technology in the room suddenly shut down. Then, just as suddenly, they reactivated, but now displaying strange symbols no one recognized. "What is happening?" Hexel Varen demanded. Before anyone could answer, a holographic image appeared in the center of the room, a map of the galaxy with thousands of points of light blinking into existence. Back on Earth, Brandon watched the same map appear above the ship. "These are locations," he whispered. "Forerunner outposts, bases, and cages. They're all activating." "Activating? After 50,000 years?" Eric asked. "The ship wasn't just a vessel," Brandon explained, his voice filled with awe. "It was a beacon, and I just turned it on. Across the galaxy, on worlds claimed by various Confederation species, ancient structures hidden underground, underwater, and in mountain ranges suddenly powered up. Doors that hadn't opened in millennia slid aside. Systems designed to wait for the return of their creators awakened from their long sleep. And every single one responded only to human genetic markers. An alien assassin named Dravkor slipped into the ventilation system of the underground facility. He had been sent to kill the humans and destroy the ship. He watched through a vent as the blue energy filled the room below. His communication device activated on its own. A message in his own language appeared. Unauthorized species detected. Defense protocols engage. Before he could move, a pulse of energy shot through the vent. Dravkor fell, paralyzed but conscious. "We have an intruder," Lisa announced, looking at a security screen. "Looks like the ship's security systems still work perfectly." Ambassador William Porter, Earth's new representative to the Confederation, received an urgent message. The Confederation Council was calling an emergency session. The topic: the immediate containment of humanity. "They're afraid," William told Eric over a secure line. "For the first time since we met them, the aliens are actually afraid of humans." "Good," Eric replied. "Maybe now they'll start treating us with respect." 2 months after the activation of the beacon, Earth had changed dramatically. Research teams found Forerunner facilities hidden deep in the Amazon jungle, beneath the Antarctic ice, and under the Pacific Ocean. Each facility contained technology beyond anything the Confederation possessed. Colonel Maria Santos stood on the bridge of the Phoenix, Earth's first true starship. Built using recovered Forerunner designs, it was faster and more powerful than any alien vessel. The ship hummed with energy as it orbited Mars, preparing for its first jump beyond the solar system. "All systems are ready," Colonel reported her pilot. "Dr. Bennett has finished the final checks on the dry system." Maria nodded. Earth had moved quickly, perhaps too quickly for the comfort of the Galactic Confederation. But they had no choice. After the beacon activated, many alien factions had called for Earth to be contained, or worse. "The Forerunners left us this technology for a reason," Dr. Jason Bennett said as he joined her on the bridge. The scientist had aged visibly in the past weeks, working day and night to understand the ancient systems. "They knew we would need it someday." "The question is, need it for what?" Maria asked. Before Jason could answer, a communication officer called out, "Colonel, multiple ships just appeared in Earth orbit. Confederation vessels, heavily armed." On the main screen, they watched as 20 alien warships took position around Earth. It was the largest alien fleet ever seen in the solar system. "They're demanding we shut down all Forerunner technology immediately," the communications officer reported. "They say it poses a grave danger to galactic stability." Maria's jaw tightened. "Tell Earth Command we're returning immediately." Full speed. As the Phoenix raced back to Earth, diplomatic channels burned with angry messages. Ambassador Angela Clark faced the Confederation Council on Nexus Prime, surrounded by hostile alien representatives. "Earth has violated the technology transfer protocols," High Counselor Hexel Varen announced. "You have accessed and activated systems beyond your civilization level." Angela stood tall despite her fear. "With respect, Counselor, we have activated our own heritage. The Forerunners were human. Their technology is our birthright." "A convenient claim," snapped a Viridian delegate. "Even if true, your species abandoned that right when you fell back into barbarism. You are not ready for such power." "Ready or not, it responds to us," Angela replied calmly. "The Forerunners designed it that way. Perhaps they knew something you don't." On the other side of the galaxy, General Vraxinun of the Draconid Empire prepared his battle fleet. The Draconids had long been the military muscle of the Confederation. Now they had orders to secure Earth and remove all Forerunner technology, by force if necessary. "The humans are activating more sites every day," his intelligence officer reported. "They now have 7 operational vessels using Forerunner dry systems." Vraxinun grunted. 7 ships against our 300. This will be a simple operation." But as his fleet prepared to jump to Earth, an alarm sounded. On every screen, strange symbols appeared. Forerunner writing. Throughout the ship, systems shut down one by one. "What's happening?" the general roared. His chief engineer looked up in shock. "Sir, the ship is rejecting our commands." It's It's like it's being taken over. Across the galaxy, the same thing happened on thousands of ships and stations. The Forerunners had built backdoors into virtually all forms of advanced technology. Now those backdoors were opening. Back on Earth, Maria Santos and the crew of the Phoenix arrived to find the alien fleet hanging motionless in orbit. Their weapons were offline, their engines dead. The Forerunner systems did this, she asked Dr. Bennett in disbelief. He nodded, studying the data on his screen. The ancient humans built safeguards into the foundation of all advanced technology. They must have known that someday, someone might try to use that technology against us. In the Confederation Council chamber, silence fell as every system went dark. When the lights returned, a holographic message appeared, written in every known language. The Guardians left these systems in trust for their children. Any action against Earth will result in complete technological shutdown. The children of Earth are the designated heirs and protectors of this galaxy. They have awakened to their purpose. Ambassador Angela looked around at the stunned alien faces. It seems my ancestors left us a message and a warning. Perhaps now would be a good time to discuss a new relationship between Earth and the Confederation. As equals. The aliens looked at each other in shock. The primitive humans they had laughed at now held the power to shut down their entire civilization with a thought. 1 year after the Forerunner systems awakened, Earth had changed forever. Ships with the new drives traveled between stars in days instead of years. Colony worlds were established on distant planets. But most importantly, the relationship between humans and aliens had transformed completely. President Gregory Wilson stood in the Great Hall of the newly built Unity Center in Geneva. Around him were representatives from over 50 alien species, including many who had once looked down on humans as primitive. Today marks a new chapter for all of us, the president said. Earth does not seek to rule or dominate. That was never the way of the Forerunners. Our ancestors. They were guardians, not conquerors. In the front row sat Ambassador Zyktar, the once arrogant Viridian who had first greeted humans with condescension. Now he listened with newfound respect. After the speech, Admiral Olivia Winters, once a simple linguist and now commander of Earth's defense forces, approached Zyktar. "You look troubled, Ambassador," she said. Zyktar nodded slowly. "I am thinking about our first meeting. How blind we were. How arrogant." "We all make mistakes," Olivia said with a small smile. "The question is what we learn from them." Dr. Samantha Powell, who had once taken secret notes at the Galactic Summit while being mocked by aliens, now led the joint research team studying the most important Forerunner discovery yet, the archive. Hidden beneath the surface of Mars, it contained the complete history of the ancient human civilization. The Forerunners didn't just leave us technology, she explained to a mixed group of human and alien scientists. They left us their knowledge and their purpose. The holographic display showed images of a terrible war from 50,000 years ago. The Forerunners had faced an enemy from beyond the galaxy, a force that consumed all life in its path. After a devastating conflict, they had managed to push this enemy back and seal the borders of the galaxy with powerful technology. They knew the enemy would return someday, Samantha continued. They didn't have the strength to rebuild their civilization after the war. So they retreated to Earth, their original home, to recover and start again. They left these systems dormant, waiting for their descendants to reach the stars once more. "And now the enemy comes again," said a Draconid scientist, pointing to long-range sensor data. At the very edge of the galaxy, strange disturbances had been detected, the first signs of the ancient enemy's return. On the flagship Earth vessel Guardian, Admiral Olivia looked at the tactical display. A combined fleet of human and alien ships was gathering. Old rivalries and prejudices were set aside in the face of the greater threat. The Forerunners couldn't face this alone, she told her officers. That's why they left their technology accessible to us, only after we had made contact with other species. They knew we would need allies. Meanwhile, President Wilson met privately with former High Counselor Selvarin, who had once treated humans like amusing children. If your ancestors were so advanced, why did they not simply destroy this enemy? Veron asked. Because they understood something important, Wilson replied. True strength comes not from destruction, but from protection. They didn't want to rule the galaxy. They wanted to safeguard it for all life. As the first wave of the enemy approached, Chief Scientist Samantha activated the final Forerunner system, a network of defense platforms that spanned the entire galaxy. They had been hidden on thousands of worlds, waiting for this moment. On the bridge of the Guardian, Admiral Olivia gave the order to move out. The combined fleet jumped to light speed, racing to meet the threat. Humans fought alongside aliens who had once mocked them, now united in common purpose. Ambassador Zyctar, watching from Nexus Prime, reflected on how wrong they had been about humans. They weren't primitive at all. They were the children of the greatest civilization the galaxy had ever known. And now they had returned to their rightful place, not as conquerors, but as protectors. As the fleet engaged the enemy at the galaxy's edge, the ancient defense grid hummed to life. The legacy of the Forerunners was finally fulfilled. Humans had reclaimed their heritage and their purpose, guardians of all life in the galaxy. The aliens who had once laughed at Earth's primitive civilization now fought beside humans with pride and gratitude. For the gift the Forerunners had left wasn't just technology or power, it was hope for all species to survive together.